What is up, fight fans? This is Peter at Petorius talking today about Combat Games MMA's Koga next event coming up on the 21st of April this month. Combat Games MMA is having another action-packed event at Snoqualmie Casino. As always, Koga has a stacked card with some of the top Washington matchups going down, but there's a very special matchup taking place on Koga 61. Local fighter Randy Zarza is facing not only a Koga veteran, but also a UFC veteran, and today I'm talking with him about his return. Today I have Anthony Freight Train Hamilton with me talking about his possibly last fight after a 3-year stint in the UFC. Anthony, thanks for joining me today, brother.
Oh, thanks for having me, my man.
Oh, man, of course. So let's start with the first part of that. Now, so Rumble on the Ridge slash Koga, you know, the two together, that's where you kind of started your career, and you grew out to the national stage, then to the global stage, you know, in the UFC, and now you're bringing it back home to the home stage. What made you want to fight possibly one more time?
Well, you know, I spent a number of years on the road, and this is where it all started, man. And so a lot of friends and family, they couldn't make some of those long trips, and you know, fighting Europe, Australia, Canada, and some of these other places. And so just to be able to come back home and put on a show for these guys, if this is really truly the last one, it's, you know, it's just another dream come true, you know, to be here for all of them and have them be a part of it.
Definitely. So it means most to you for the fact that now you can seal up your fight game in front of your friends and family.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, if this truly is the last one, man, what better place to do it than here at home?
Yeah, man, and that's very respectful of you, man, to bring it to your audience and, you know, where it all started, you know, truly supporting local MMA. It's awesome, man.
Yeah,
definitely.
Thank you.
Yeah, so what's it like seeing the fights at Combat Games? Now, I know you've been doing commentary every once in a while. I've seen you been doing that. Do you see a comparison from when it was like back when you were competing versus what it is now? Like, or, you know, the competition, evolution, in that sort of sense, or has it stayed the same?
You know, there's a lot of similarities. You know, it's obviously the venue, some of the long-term fans or the long-term fighters that have been part of it since the beginning. But, man, the game keeps getting better. Like Joe DeRobio and Koga, man, they're putting on, you know, better shows. I mean, they improve every time they put on a fight. You know, it's always getting better, and there's always a little something new about it. The competition obviously is evolving. You know, as MMA continues to grow and goes through its, you know, little growing pains or whatever, the fighters are just getting better. And so, you know, in that way, things have changed, but there's still a lot of similarities to what it was back in the day when I was there before.
Oh, nice, man. So yeah, man, how has the training camp been going for this fight? And I think you said, yeah, you've been talking with Jackson's MMA, but you're bringing it back here to Ivan Salivary, yeah?
Yeah. Both Greg Jackson and Ivan Salivary have been long-term coaches of mine. You know, I live in the Seattle area, so when I'm home, I always work with Ivan. And then when I'm on the road, I'm usually preparing for fights and so forth. I'm with Greg, and so this time I'm doing it at home because the fight's at home. I got a family here. I got a lot of other responsibilities here. So I've been doing the camp here at home, but I've been in contact with a lot of my teammates, my mentors down there at Jackson's, but I've been working with Ivan here as well. So it's been great, man. It's just been kind of like a combo package on all the different ways, and you know, I feel great, man. Camp's going okay, man. About ready to wrap it up and beat this dude up.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Yeah. Yeah, so now you are facing. I mean, you've been facing the best heavyweights in the world, you know, and now you are facing Randy Zarza, who, you know, big shout out to him stepping up. But you know, it obviously, not I guess on the radar of what competition you had in the UFC. What are your thoughts on this fight leading up to it?
Well, there's obviously levels to the game, right? So. Randy Zarza may not be like, you know, any world-class competition, but he's still a tough fighter, and he's a heavyweight. And so when you put those two things together, man, anything can happen when you step into a cage. And so, you know, I need to be ready just as I've been ready for any of my fights in the past, and can't take anyone lightly. especially somebody like Randy Zarza, man. He's not coming in here to lose. I mean, he's coming in here to win and to shock the world. And so, I need to be ready for that. And but yeah, man, I'm approaching it like any other fight, and I'll be ready when fight night comes.
No, definitely, man, and big shout out to Randy, and like you said, it's a heavyweight division. I mean, that from you doing some of the quickest knockouts in UFC history, man. That anything can happen at one shot. So yeah, big shout out to Randy for stepping up and facing you in this coming back home fight. I'm interested in your experience in the UFC. How you had, like I said, a 3-year stint. Wins and losses, all that sort of stuff. How was the UFC to you, man? Did you get the fair treatment? What was it like? What was the experience in the UFC?
Man, it was awesome. I had 10 fights there. It was, I when I was coming up, I dreamed about just having one, and so to be able to do 10 and to be part of the organization for as long as I was, it was awesome, man. It was just a blessing, and they always took good care of me. I never had any problems with them. All these people, or some people complain about certain aspects of the UFC and so forth, but I never had any trouble with them, man. They always took care of me. They were always cool as long as I took care of my end of the deal. It was good. So they paid me tons of money for, a lot of money they didn't even have to give me. They gave me. And so they're an awesome organization from top to bottom. And it's just, a lot of my great friends and people that I'll stay in touch with for life are part of that organization or have been part of that organization. And so I don't have anything bad to say about those guys, man. They're awesome.
No, that's good, man. It's good to hear. And like you said, yeah, some people did have or what they called as unfair treatment. So that's good. They took care of you, man. That's good. That's good. You ever talk to Dana White at all? Ever get to chat with him, or was he always too busy?
No, on a few occasions, just during a few fights that he was there for, had a couple words here and there, or at weigh-ins or whatever. Ran into him a few times at the Performance Institute. In the beginning, I think it was last summer when a bunch of us went down there for athlete retreat, and they had the grand opening of the PI and the new UFC headquarters and stuff, and had a chance to chat with him a little bit there. And yeah, I mean, as busy as he is, and as many fighters that are under him, and everything he's involved with, then he always does take the time, to at least say hello and shake hands and so forth. And so, a lot of respect for that guy.
No, that's good. That's good, man. Yeah. So you're coming off the UFC, had a few unfortunate losses. One I wanted to talk about, when it was, your supposed retirement fight that I've just haven't been able to wrap my head around, and I haven't seen much kind of press on it. Was it seemed like a controversial stoppage. Was you versus Daniel Spitz?
Yeah. It just apparently they thought that I wasn't in any position to continue fighting. And that's just the way it goes, man. It's a game time decision, and the refs are in a spot to keep everyone safe and to make sure that, they're doing their job and so forth. And so I understand where he was coming from. I think it was Big Dan was the ref for that fight. And I think it's just the angle that he was at, he couldn't really see. I mean, I obviously wasn't in a great spot. I mean, I got rocked with a punch, but, I wasn't out or wasn't able to continue. And so it's just unfortunate, man, that the things went the way they did. And that's just part of the game, man. That's life. You gotta roll with the punches. And shout out to Daniel Spitz, man. He went in there and caught me with a good one, and that's the game, man. I mean, it could have gone either way. I mean, a lot of the fights that I've won could have gone the other way also. So it's just the way it is.
No doubt. But yeah, no, I watched it, like 10 times, being like, did that right hook land? It kind of looked like he just grazed you, but used it to hook you to the ground.
Yeah, it was glancing. It was enough to kind of shake me a little bit. He jumped on top I wasn't really on the ground. I kind of was on my hands and knees, and I was coming back up. Mm-hmm. And he threw some punches. Some of them inadvertently hit me in the back of the head. That was another issue. But man, we're all fighters. We're all trying to win. Mm-hmm. I mean, shit, it's the way it goes. Excuse my language, but
you're good. You're good.
It's the way it goes, I mean, if that was me and I was Daniel Spitz in that situation, man, you take the win. You know what I mean?
Oh, totally, yeah.
It's the way it goes. So hats off to that guy, man. He came in, he he performed and executed what he needed to do, and he got the victory. I think 9 times out of 10 though it would have went the other way, and I would have smashed this guy. But he got the win that night. So congratulations.
Yeah, no, definitely, and I can understand too where you were kind of hands and knees, you were looking to grab his leg or at least go for his position, but as heavyweights, you just hear 3 smacks. You're like, okay, I need to save this guy because who knows? I can't see his head and whether his eyes are rolling to the back of his head. So it's it is for the fighters.
Yeah, it's the way it goes, man. It's my own fault. I should have, maybe I should have never even been in that position in the first place. So, it is the way it is.
No, definitely, man. And I don't try to like bring up losses, but I do just for like the fact of like how trending this guy is. What was it like facing Francis Ngannou? Like everybody says, whenever they face him, he's just a different sort of power. Did you feel any of that where you were like, whoa, yeah, man, different person right here?
Yeah, I mean, nobody expected Francis Ngannou to have any type of submission skills.
Yeah, really.
And it was surprising to me. I think that Francis Ngannou the dude obviously has a ton of potential, and he's just a monster and a specimen. But he just, I was more concerned in that fight about his striking power because he is probably the best striker in the UFC in the heavyweight division. And so when I was staying on the outside. I had an opportunity. He threw a kick. I grabbed it, took him down. But this guy is so strong, he was able to, essentially bench press me off him. We got into a little bit of a scramble. Ended up against the cage. I went to rest for a second, and then I was going to attack with another takedown. But in that split second, he locked up the Kimura, and, it surprised me, and it surprised the rest of the world, I'm sure. And, he was able to get the finish. So,
definitely, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, man, you've been around the world, and I think it's awesome, especially, representing Kent, Washington, right where I grew up. So, huge respect, man.
Place. Yeah.
I went to Kent Lake. You went to Kentwood. We had a little rivalry, but it's funny how local that you are. And I was just like, when I saw that on the UFC, I was like, okay, well, following this dude, man, let's ride Kent to the global stage, baby.
That's right, K-Town for life.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Yeah. So so what were the most memorable moments that you've had fighting in Rumble on the Ridge? You're coming back. I'm sure reliving some memories. Like, what was maybe like your first, whoa, I have a shot at not only just keeping this title or gaining a title, but that sort of main stage feeling where you're like, I can do this on a global stage, or just anything that sticks out to you?
I would think the very, very first fight I ever had there, I was an amateur. It was my very first MMA fight ever, and Joe DeRobio gave me that opportunity back then, and I think that it was just an amazing experience overall, just to be out there under those lights in front of all those people, and out there competing and doing something that I was really passionate about at the time, and it was amazing, man. And then from there, it just I had I think 5 or 6 more fights in Rumble on the Ridge, and it was amazing, man. Every single time, the energy, the venue's beautiful. There was always some great competition, some great fights on the card. Just to be a part of that whole experience and part of that show it's been awesome, man. And so, I don't expect anything less when this fight comes on April 21st, man. It'll be the same thing, if not even better, to be out there and be part of this, man. And it's been an awesome ride, man, and I expect it to continue through at least April.
That's good, man. That's good. Have you you got to fight out in the outside venue?
I did. I had one fight out there. Yeah. We did a summertime fight. I got a TKO victory over a tough veteran, Northwest veteran. So yeah, it was awesome, man. Man,
yeah. No, I was gonna say that is one of the most beautiful venues. Not only is it just a cool setup in the ring, but then you just look in the back and it's just the cascades. It's just beautiful. Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah, and it's awesome, man. It's a great location because, not only the scenery and stuff like that, but just to where it's located, everybody can get to it. It's not too far out of the way for everyone. If you're in Seattle, if you're in Bellevue, if you're even down south from where we're from in Kent, it's not too far of a drive, man. It's convenient. There are great shows, great other stuff going on there. There's always something to do, and so it just works out for everybody.
Oh, definitely, man. Now, I heard, or at least I guess saw in an interview that you credit God for, like, getting you this far, your wins, all that sort of stuff, which many fighters do, and say that's what got them there. Have you always been religious, or was that something that happened during your fight career?
No, I was saved. I accepted Jesus into my life when I was about 15 years old, and yeah, man. So God's always been a part of the plan and part of the process, and so it just continued into fighting, and it just gave me an opportunity to spread the word and to be an example or a representative for the Lord, and kind of like at least tell people what He has done for me and what's going on in my life, and so it's just a continuation of things that have been going on.
Okay, cool. No, just yeah, I had to touch on that. I forgot what interview I was listening to, but it kind of sounded like you might have, like, refound or found in the middle of your career or something like that. But no, that's really cool. And do you think something like that keeps your discipline and focus? Do you think that's what got you to the global stage? Because I'm thinking about people who stay local versus, which isn't a bad thing. It's, I mean, fighting's fighting. It's like hell off to you to even step in that cage from the get-go. But to make it to, like, the national stage, do you think that separates that sort of focus and discipline, separates somebody who does stay in the local scene versus gets to a national global stage? Does it take that sort of focus and discipline?
Absolutely. Especially now. I mean, maybe back in the day it was a little bit even easier for people to get there, but not now. I mean, the people that are in the UFC or some of these other promotions, the big three or the big five promotions in the world, it's not an easy road. I mean, there's killers up there. They're the best at what they do from their part of the world, and it's tough, man. It's not easy, and so being disciplined, working hard, being focused, and having faith in not only in yourself but in your destiny and what the Lord has for you, man. That's what's going to get you there. You can't just work out every day and expect it to just happen out of nowhere, man. It doesn't work like that, man. There's so much more that people don't realize that goes into it. It's more than just working out and punching somebody in the face, man. There's so much more involved to get to the next level.
Oh yeah, man. There's a backstory to every victory and a lot of hard work behind the scenes. But yeah,
Yeah.
and it's so synonymous. I just think it's really synonymous with, the people who do just, like, it's less of when people hear this, it's not like me exactly, like, trying to do an infomercial for religion and God, but it's something that when people have that sort of focus, they don't get distracted as much. They don't get as distracted by the women, the drinks, just that sort of nightlife sort of thing. Like, they can sort of see past it. And when I've talked to people like that, they, just kind of, they can see through that sort of, I don't know, illusion, if you will. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean, man. Yeah, that's exactly what it was for me. A lot of my friends and stuff, they go out on the weekends, or they did go out on the weekends, and I wouldn't be doing that. You know what I mean? That's not really for me. It didn't factor into the plan. The plan was to get to the top, and to get to the top, you're not going to be in the bars every night. You're not going to be chasing women. You're not going to be, doing whatever else, man. You're going to be focused. You're going to be, if you're not training, you're going to be, thinking about training or thinking about fighting, and you just take every moment to get better in every area of your life. It's not just, when it's time to come step in the cage. It's not when all of a sudden you get better. You know what I mean? It's when nobody's watching. That's when you get better.
Yeah. No, man. It's like they say, like motivation versus discipline. Motivation's temporary and discipline's just that rock solid. Yeah, just seeing right through it all, man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. So, I have to at least say, how sure are you that this is your last fight?
I don't know. I love this thing, man. If I could fight forever, I would. But I mean, that's just not even realistic. I would. I got two beautiful kids at home, and this is all that they've ever known is dad, beating people up. And so, at some point, the focus has to be 110% on them, because truly it hasn't been. I've been trying to fight and make a name for our family and take care of us and do all this other stuff and, traveling all over the place. And so they haven't got all the attention that they deserve. And so I got to bring it home and, give them some attention and help them, grind through this life and make their way. And so I don't know, man. The wife wants it to be over. She wants me to settle down a little bit and be more at home and, not so beat up and all that other stuff. But I don't know, man. We'll see what happens. Let's just get through this one. Right now the plan is, I guess, to maybe finish it here and then see what the Lord brings me after that. But we'll at least have one more, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'll be honest, man. With the MMA fan in me, the MMA fandom talking, I would love to see you in Bellator. I think you would seriously hang with a lot of those heavyweights, and I think that would be that would just, I'd explode my MMA fandom. Like, that just seems like a lot of really good. I can think of many matchups for that sort of thing.
Yeah, it'd be fun, man. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, man. I'm thinking, okay, if a 6-second flying knee KO, are you still retiring?
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
It's like,
I don't know, man.
It's like, you know what? Too much energy. Let's have another fight.
Yeah. I don't know. This body, man. I'll tell you what, man. It's hard to get going some days, man, because it just, everything hurts. But the love for the sport is still there. I love to train. I love to grind. I love to compete. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with myself when it is truly over. So, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes come April 21st, and I'll make my final decision there, I guess.
Ah, cool, man. So yeah, no official plan after fighting. Any sort of thoughts about after fighting? I mean, I'm sure you'll be still doing color commentary for Koga every once in a while, I'm sure.
Yeah. Joe and I have a great relationship. Not only like professionally and business wise, but personally, man, we're both dads. We're both family guys, and so we have a lot in common there. We love the sport of mixed martial arts, so we'll always be involved in some capacity. So yeah, I'll probably keep doing stuff for him, and we'll see what else God has for me, man, and probably just have to be a regular guy after that. I don't know if that's really what I'm capable of doing, but we'll figure it out. That time comes for everybody.
I mean, you'll always be, UFC veteran. People will call you out, or at least, have you come train with them, that sort of thing. You'll still be in the game.
Yeah. I hope so. Shit. I don't know what. I don't know. I probably want to get into a fight every once in a while, but it just won't be legal anymore, So.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, no, we'll be all right.
Oh, man, no doubt, man. Well, hey, man, thank you so much for spending the time. I know I think you're chilling outside your gym, all that sort of stuff, ready to keep that training camp going. Man, show some love to some sponsors, anybody you'd like to thank, family, friends, just anything in general. Show some love.
Absolutely. Want to shout out to all my boys, my brothers and sisters, my coaches down in Albuquerque, New Mexico at Jackson Wink MMA. Also all my family over here in Seattle, Kent, Washington area, my friends, all my brothers and sisters at Ivan Saliveri, MMA, Gracie Baja, Seattle. Shout out to my long-term sponsors, Tiger 2 Clothing, also Arctic Home, Alaska, and Cycle Bar in Redmond. So shout out to you guys. Thank you guys for being a part of this journey.
Hell yeah. Anthony Freight Train Hamilton fighting at Snoqualmie Casino April 21st against Randy Zarza again April 21st. Thanks so much for spending the time, brother. I'll see you April 21st.
Sounds good, my man. Thank you. Take care.
Yep. Peace.
Bye-bye.